Content warning. This podcast is intended for a mature audience. Contains graphic descriptions of violence and explicit language. Hello, you're listening to Pods of the Multiverse Season 4. We're playing 5th edition D&D, and I'm Jimmy, the DM for our game in Eberron. Joining me are three of my best friends.
I'm Andy. I play the Green Warden, named the Green Warden, who is perhaps not friend to all giants, but friend to these giants.
Aw, that's nice.
My name is Geppi. I play Alfonso Carlucci Ropatella, the fabled elevator repairman.
And I am Scala. I play Istvan of Clan Gunvald, who has a special message for all those listening. Make sure you extinguish all open flames and seal all portals to Fernia. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yes!
Oh my god! Got him!
So good. Holy shit, that was good. That was good.
Nice. Alright, here's episode 6. Last time, Istvan, Alfonso, and the Green Warden engaged in some early morning firefighting. They fought back some fire elementals, they traveled to the top of a big volcano to enlist the help of some fire giants to rid this giant village of some fire elementals. While at the volcano, you visited the Observatory of Anatar and looked for meaning in the smoke billowing out of the volcano.
Oh, that was so good.
Good stuff. Learned a lot about yourselves and each other. After returning back to the village, you stayed with the giants for a few days, and then, armed with enough giant brewed topical insect repellent, you ventured out once more into the jungle, where you were soon met with a familiar sight. So here you are, coming down the hill, back into the depths of the wilderness, and making its way through the brush is Clacky.
Is that a Signore Clacky? Alfonso says only to the party quietly.
Well, I don't mean to sound prejudiced here, but that's the only mantis folk we know, and it sorta looks like him.
This is definitely Clacky, unless it's mantis folk dressed exactly the same.
Ah, yes. From your former camp.
Yeah, so Clacky, mantis folk, about 6 feet tall, 6 appendages, 4 of them used for walking, 2 of them used kind of like arms, pushing their way through. Satchel over the shoulder.
Do we see anyone else with Clacky right now, or is Clacky alone?
Clacky appears to be alone. Roll insight.
Mi amici Istvan. I think it would be unlike Clacky to roam alone. I suspect the rest of the camp is nearby, huh? I roll a 1, and I don't suspect anything.
I roll a 19. Maybe I know what's up.
A middling 11.
Well, on that 19, this does seem to be a pretty remote area, and Clacky is walking directly towards you. So even if you're not sure that they've seen you yet, they're coming right at you. So they probably know you're here.
Okay.
They do appear determined.
We don't really have any way to communicate with Clacky, if I remember right.
At least not using language, no.
I put one hand on a hammer, and I step forward and wave at Clacky.
All right. Yeah, so Clacky definitely sees you and is making their way towards you.
I do have speak with animals, but this probably doesn't count, does it?
Clacky's not an animal. Clacky's a humanoid for sure. But this is not a language that any of you speak, nor really are many humanoids capable of speaking. The mantis folk speak using a complex system of clacking and antenna wiggling and probably other kinds of body language that you are not even able to perceive. So you don't really have a way of directly communicating through language with Clacky. But I want you to describe, what do you look like in this tableau? So it's been nearly a week since you've been separated from the expedition. Go ahead and explain what you look like here.
I got this. I'll go first. As Clacky shortens the distance, maybe at first Alfonso, partially obscured by jungle brush or the warden himself, is now clearly visible. His clothes are tattered, some burned off completely. There's a giant purple welt on his eye from when he got stung at one point. His hair is a mess. There's dirt caked all over his face, including a huge smudge on the side of his mouth. But in spite of that, still smiling. I guess we're doing this. Signore Clacky, it is great to see you again.
Truly a ravaged Nomi Stark.
Istvan, what do you look like after this ordeal?
Istvan probably looks in somewhat better condition than Alfonso. A lot of their clothes are meant to withstand a good amount of wear, being stuff generally worn in and around a forge. It's very heavy and layered, but there is definitely some waterlogging, especially around the shoulders and knees. There is also a bit of fire damage, some small burn marks from the recent encounter with those elementals. They've still made it a point to shave every morning, still very clean-shaven, though the rest of their hair is a wiry mess with bits of foliage tangled up in it, and the hammer that they have one hand on as they wave is the new device that was made for them by Zucom that has this dragon shard embedded in it, churning with this red-orange glow, a weapon they've taken to calling Temper.
Very cool. Whoa. And what kind of expressions on your face as you're facing Clacky here?
Cautious.
Okay. And finally, the Green Warden. You've been through a lot.
I think the most noticeable thing would be that he probably looks greener than when he climbed out of the rubble where he was unearthed, or where he unearthed himself. You could definitely see a lot of moss and other growth on the shoulders and on the upper parts of his disheveled third of a cloak that remains around his upper torso, and perhaps slightly more weathered his stone helm and facade. But otherwise, I don't think it would be that much different than the state he was left in, this very worn and weathered state, if only a bit more new growth forming as he moves about the world.
Sure. Very resilient.
I think there's one thing I do want to do before we engage in any way with Clacky.
Sure.
Alfonso still is convinced that the rest of the expedition is maybe behind a tree line nearby and is imminently arriving. So we'll, from waving at Clacky, immediately turn around and just get in front of the Warden. My friend, I think the rest of the troop is nearby. You may need to talk yourself out of this one. We'll do our best to help you. But in the meantime, my armor will reveal a panel of 6 buttons. They bear a bull, an eagle, a cat, a fox, and an owl. I will cast Enhance Ability using Eagle's Splendor to give Warden advantage on all charisma checks for the next hour.
Whoa.
That's really cool flavor on Enhance Ability.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, so at this time, you're probably a few tens of feet from Clacky. Clacky looks at the three of you, kind of points, and gestures as if to say, follow me, but it's almost a rigid gesture. On your 19 from earlier, this type of body language is not Clacky's first language. This is a learned gesture. So Clacky is gesturing, come with me.
Recalling our previous encounter with your traveling company, I cannot say this is the wisest decision, though I am confident in the 3 of our abilities should something go amiss again.
Clacky turns and starts walking back the direction they came.
I don't like it. But I suppose the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
We do have the insect repellent, but the jungle has far more than just insects, eh?
Aye.
I wonder at this happenstance. What do the 2 of you, my new friends, wish to do?
Real quick, Jimmy, would I be able to make either a flat intelligence or a history check to remember if anyone in the troop was able to communicate with Clacky?
Yeah, if you want to just do flat intelligence, that would make sense. Sure.
It is an 18.
Okay. On that 18, we can represent that as you would have taken an interest in this when you were with the expedition, maybe asked some questions. And there doesn't seem to be any direct communication coming from Clacky to members of the expedition, but Clacky does seem to understand some common, especially with regards to the actual day-to-day operations of traveling. Clacky also understood completely the mission of the expedition at the outset.
Okay. I think that Signore Clacky would have a difficult time explaining to them that he has found us. Perhaps we tread lightly, follow behind, but from a distance. And if we need to run, our former friends will be none the wiser as to our encounter here this moment.
All right. Let's go then.
Also, I would have had a 19, because I have the green mysterious gem I forgot all about. Anyway.
Oh, and a 19, you just remember that you speak Mantis folk language.
Hell yeah. All right. But I forget it at night. Yeah, all right. I'll follow behind cautiously from a distance so that I can always keep Clacky in sight, but try to make it in such a way where if Clacky were to round the corner and the expedition were there, we wouldn't be side by side with Clacky. We would be a little bit behind so we wouldn't be spotted.
Sure. So you start to follow cautiously as Clacky leads you back in the direction they came. Go ahead and roll survival here.
Oh, right. I've got a 1 mod on survival for the fucking jungle.
None of us are good at survival.
Yeah, it's good.
That's an 8, by the way.
It's a 9.
16.
All right, great. So Clacky leads you through this labyrinthine path between trees and up and over rocks and hills, and at some points Clacky will just stop, turn a very deliberate amount of degrees of an angle, and just start walking in that direction, sometimes almost completely back where you came from.
This gives me Majora's Mask vibes when you're a Zora and you have to follow the very specific signs to get to the underwater fucking area, and I hated it as a kid. Anyway.
Defying all reason, after about 20 minutes, you can see up ahead, through the trees, you are approaching the very same campsite that you left just under a week ago.
Quite remarkable. It appears to have not moved at all.
Do we see people there at the campsite?
If you want to roll perception to get a lay of the campsite here.
Sure do.
Dirty 20. 21 with my green gem shit.
That's 18.
You got one, Andy?
10.
Okay. Yeah, so on an 18 and a 21, you can see the tents that were set up before, including your own 2 tents. This is the very same campsite that you left. And now, in addition to this, the campsite seems to have developed a bit. There are 2 bigger tents as well that seem to be used for working. Specifically, in terms of people you can see, right now you can really only see Gallant's tent, which is the closest one to these trees. He's sitting at a writing desk.
I only see one of them. I think it is Gallant.
Perhaps one of you should talk to them.
Well, I love a good conversazione. I would prefer to maybe stay here. Something tells me we will not be welcome. Istvan?
What is it we want to do here, I suppose, is the question. What do we hope is going to happen?
Looking down at my glowing arm, Stormreach may have many people. I came here in search of answers and, perhaps I find them there. Whether we get there with the expedition, or get there by following closely behind, or get there completely on our own, I do not care. But I will not put me amici, looking over to Green Warden, in any danger to do so.
We could go to Stormreach, aye, but I think we'd find the same welcome there that we found here. I wonder if it's not a better idea just to return to the volcano. They seemed to know something about dragon shards and using them to bind spirits. Maybe they could help you learn about your brother. And then there's Warden. Far be it from me to say what quest the gods awakened him to perform, but Croswell's understanding of history, as we've learned in our journey, seems to be very limited. I don't know if they can help us in that way either.
Well, what are you looking for?
Something that is not a question, and therefore does not seek an answer.
Oh, these are called riddles. These are fun, I like these.
I'm looking for a way to do as the fire giants did, to do acts that would absolve me of those thoughtless and wicked things I did in the past. And so I think helping you is one such act, and so I'm at your disposal to help you achieve your goals, as long as we're out here.
Remind me, Jimmy, did I not ask about anything to do with the dragons or the crystals while we were up on the volcano?
You asked Zucom if he knows of anything other than elementals being bound to Kyber crystals, and he was taken aback at your question.
Istvan, the problem therein is, while you appear to be a wonderful smith, there is a difference between artifice and what it is you do. What happened here, holding up my arm, was a work of, well, it's beyond artifice. It is beyond my understanding of it. And our friends back in the volcano confirmed as much as well. In spite of the Warforged, in spite of the elemental work, I fear it a dead end to go back.
Well, like I said, I'm at your disposal. I think your goals are noble, and I will help you pursue them in the manner you think best.
That's my vote, just hanging back.
Hang back. Okay. At this point, since you're following behind Clacky, Clacky is going to now breach this line of trees back into the actual campsite, and
We can still see him, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can see the campsite from where you've presumably stopped before actually exiting the trees. So now Clacky is going to traverse this distance, probably about 60 feet from the trees to Gallant's tent, and they're going to engage in a little bit of conversation here that you can't hear from where you are. Seems like a little bit of body language on Clacky's part, and Gallant looking quizzically, asking questions. After a short time of this, Gallant's going to get up from his desk, and they're both going to walk towards you.
Cool.
I mean, I saw that coming. Warden is not really in a position to know what to do here, so he's just watching this happen.
Can I get up into the trees?
Sure, make an acrobatics check.
I mean, monk shit is always an option.
20.
Absolutely. You can get pretty far up into trees, and if you want to also do a stealth check along with that,
Yeah,
if
sure.
you're trying to evade notice.
17.
Yeah, good.
Signori Warden, I think you look more in touch with the earth since we last met these people. Perhaps you can stay hidden.
Yes, very well.
Can I use a nature check to try and help my stealth a little bit? If I hide in some brush and earth, maybe just blend right in.
That's a good way to do that. Yeah, give that a nature check.
Cool. That's a 9.
Ooh. Okay.
I guess I'll roll stealth now.
Yeah, with disadvantage, right?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah, roll stealth, your normal stealth check.
Yep. Okay, those are actually pretty good. That's a 17.
Okay.
Alfonso will try to hide behind whatever rock-like formation Warden has positioned himself in. It is an 11.
Okay. So, yeah, Clacky will lead Gallant back into the trees here, and they both start looking around. Oh, I thought you said they were going to be right here. He only rolled a 9.
Wow.
Jimmy Dice!
What about Clacky?
Clacky rolled worse.
Jimmy Dice!
He dies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Their passive perception doesn't beat Alfonso's roll.
Since they're actively looking, passive perception doesn't really come into it, right? So, yeah. So Gallant will just... I thought you said you found them. All right. Well, go out and find them again. I don't want to be associated with 2 missing people when my book is published. And he storms back out of the trees, back to his desk.
And we heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Signori Warden, it just sounds like he wants us accounted for. Maybe they help. Maybe I was wrong. But let's stay put, just in case.
If he is the only one here, perhaps you should talk to him before those others return.
It's been a while, though. It's been almost a week. We've no sense of confidence in if and when the rest of the troop will come back. I'm playing an Andy character. I'm nervous and cautious. And
Let me out of character say this. He did say 2 missing people, so that means he probably knows where the rest of the party are.
Yeah, and I don't want to mislead you. I didn't mean that they're not here. I meant you didn't see them.
Yeah.
You can't see into the tents from where you are.
Yeah, stand put. Just gonna see what happens in the camp.
Okay. So Clacky's going to keep looking around for you.
Should we re-roll our stealth, or do we maintain?
I think you can maintain for now.
Oh, great. I love maintaining an 11.
Clacky rolled badly again.
Clacky's good at not getting lost, but not finding things. It's a difference, right?
Yeah, those are 2 definitely different skills. After a little while of looking at this area, Clacky will go back the way you came from. Seemingly looking for you still.
Okay. How far away, Istvan, are you? Are you in a tree above us?
Yeah, I'm in a tree above you.
Okay. At as low a volume as possible. We should be very careful not to move uno inch. Signori Clacky is far away now, and if we move, we may get lost again. Let us stay right at the perimeter of the camp. No, I see you. You put your finger to your mouth. Do not move a muscle. I'm just kidding.
Here's a finger for you, you little shite.
Oh my god.
So at this point, I'm going to stop trying to pull you into this, and you can just tell me what you want to do here.
I have the distinct feeling that going into the camp is bad, so unless something happens to convince me otherwise, my plan would be that we'll just trail them. If they start to move towards Stormreach and make camp elsewhere, we would just literally follow them around the jungle and try to stay stealthy.
When we were part of this party, was there a plan that we were aware of? Like, we go into the jungle, we excavate for this amount of time, then we return to Corvair. Was there some sort of itinerary like that.
Sure. You know that this was a previously undiscovered site, that they only got wind of the location of this place because of translated texts. And so this was sort of, let's go out and survey the site, look at it, learn about it, and stay for a little bit if it's even there at all, gather some treasure, make our way back. There really was not a set number of days or a timeline there. You could probably imagine that the expedition is probably running lower on provisions by this point, unless they were resupplying with gathering and stuff like that.
So at this point, I'm just waiting to see what happens next with the camp, unless Istvan or Warden disagree.
Right, but I think something Scala was bringing up, or Istvan, was what is the overall goal? Because trailing them is just sort of this is what we're doing right now. What is that leading to?
And I would say that the hope is we don't get lost anymore, and we can use this troop to make either our way closer to or directly into Stormreach. And if this camp is going away from Stormreach, Alfonso will say we should pivot.
Didn't you guys come from Stormreach? Isn't that the only place into Zendrick that people come and go from?
You kind of passed through Stormreach. You traveled across the sea, then switched over into a river boat to make it into the continent. You really didn't spend even an entire day in Stormreach. It's a port city, as far as you know.
Alfonso's whole thing is maybe the city is the best place. Maybe that's what this is all about all along. And that radio seems to be suggesting it all the time.
The other thing is that going back to Stormreach would be the only way for you to get home if that's what you want. Short term or long term, if that's something you want to do, Stormreach is the only way to make that happen. If you're going to be waiting in this spot, tell me how you do that. Or if you're going to be waiting somewhere else, or you're going to go back into the jungle. Like, tell me what you're going to do.
What Alfonso's trying to do here is stay close enough to keep an eye so we ourselves don't get lost. Whenever Clacky is not at camp, we stay at the tree line at camp and hidden. When Clacky's around, follow behind Clacky as best we can. That's Alfonso's vote.
Well, a thought occurs. We don't need this camp to get back to where we're going. We only need Clacky. So Clacky seems a fine enough fellow, but maybe we can try to convince Clacky that we need to get back to Stormreach rather quickly.
Speaking up into the trees. And what else is that, if that does not go so well, the radio show gives me a wonderful idea. Who has the bag of holding?
You each have a bag of holding.
I wave mine up so that Istvan can see.
Okay.
Insinuating if a conversation doesn't go well, we can just stuff this mantid creature into...
For a minute before they suffocate.
Right. Also, a bag of holding on the inside is like a large chest. You'd have to really shove this creature into a bag.
The gesture remains.
You talking about taking Clacky hostage?
Just putting it out there. Putting the feelers out there.
That's a fun idea. I did not see that one coming.
The problem is, if it goes poorly, then we've lost our only chance at a guide. So I think...
Can we not just poke holes in it so he can breathe while he's in there, eh?
No, you need a bottle of air.
Poke holes in the bag of holding. Go ahead, try that. See how that works out for you.
There's literally an entire paragraph dedicated to fucking with a bag of holding.
Oh, it feels good to be on this side of the table.
Warning. If the bag of holding is overloaded, pierced, or torn, it ruptures and is destroyed, and its contents are scattered in the astral plane. Placing a bag of holding inside an extra-dimensional space instantly destroys both items and opens the gates to the astral plane. Bag of holding. Available in any magic item shop.
Let's not fuck with the bag of holding.
Okay, perfect.
We don't need a black hole to the astral sea, thank you.
Then let us wait for Signori to come back.
You're in your hiding spots. How are you passing time here?
Bored?
I'm gonna find a comfortable perch in the tree. I'll take out my spyglass, and I'm just gonna start scanning the horizon for Clacky.
Okay, great. Reroll your stealth checks, if that is what you're planning on doing.
Ooh, that's not good. 6.
15.
I got a 3. Please, for the love of God, Jimmy, move us along.
I'm trying not to, railroad you too hard.
I appreciate that. I do.
Roll a perception check, Istvan, with advantage.
Nat 20? 23?
Absolutely.
Nice.
So after a while of waiting here in your new hiding spots, you will see Clacky again making their way back towards the camp. They're going to pass through your space.
Cool. I'm going to jump down from the tree right in front of Clacky. I'm going to pull Temper out and point it as non-threateningly as I can. in a manner that body language is attempting to communicate. I don't want to use this, but I will if I have to.
Clacky draws a weapon in like the blink of an eye.
Oh, okay.
As soon as you do. We're not making this an initiative situation, really, but if it were, you'd be in a surprise round.
Okay. We're not here to fight, but we're not going with them. I try to communicate with body language.
Roll persuasion with disadvantage.
Negative charisma, go! 4.
I see this unfold, and I simply stand up. I imagine I'd be right nearby if Istvan jumped straight down. You see a mountain of stone rise out of the bushes.
I would imagine Alfonso was using you as a perch.
And you're on my shoulder.
Yeah, I'm now on your shoulder. It appears I gave the blessing of Antonella the Eagle to the wrong person.
No, Alfonso.
I take a step forward towards Clacky, and I gesture to the camp.
They do not wish to return yet.
And I point, and then I take both hands, and I wave them horizontally like no. Very simply.
All right. Then at this point, Warden, you can roll flat persuasion, and Istvan, you can re-roll with flat persuasion.
Would Warden still have the advantage on charisma?
Yeah, how long has it been since? Because it
It's
only
less
lasts
than an hour.
Less an hour? I'd say we're just inside of that.
So, with advantage.
Say thank you, Antonella.
I'm still at 4.
Okay.
I got a 22.
Okay, great.
You see the dust and earth shaking off of my large arms as I make this gesture.
So Clacky's looking up at you. Their body language relaxes somewhat, and they go to their satchel on their side, and Clacky pulls out a small wooden thing and hands it to you, Warden. This appears to be a whistle.
Is this a Clacky summoning whistle? Is that what this is?
Yeah, it is. Let's move on. Yes, it is.
Seeing this gesture, I lower my hammer.
It would appear we have a way to summon your mountain friend.
Jimmy, is there a notable landmark in Stormreach?
Like a man-made structure, or what do you...
Either. Is there a distinctive natural structure or a building, like the tallest building or the most architecturally distinct building in Stormreach, that I could scratch out a rough imitation of and indicate to Clacky, lead us there?
Sure, I think that you could definitely draw a cartoon of Stormreach. It's a port city built into giant ruins, and on a nearby hillside there is a large statue of a storm giant.
Cool. I doodle the storm giant statue, and I show it to Clacky, and I attempt to intimate, bring us there. Negative charisma, go!
Yeah.
Persuasion 15.
Okay.
Remnants of Wink.
Who?
Whispers of Wink.
So Clacky's expressionless face looks at you, and then they go into their bag and produce 2 more of these whistles. Give one to you and one to Alfonso. And then, without another word or without another expression, turns, walks back towards the camp.
Do we leave him a tip?
I think it would be right to pay our guide once we get to our destination, but I don't think we should tarry here.
Can we see the volcano anymore?
No.
Spooky.
Travel is very strange here.
Yeah.
Nothing is really Euclidean. You're several days of travel away from the volcano at this point, even though it took under half an hour to get here. Clacky comes back after a short time with a piece of paper, hands it to you, Istvan. It appears to be a page from Gallant's log of what's happened just recently. It's not a very comprehensive log. Alfonso, the expedition's engineer, and Istvan, a trained security specialist, went missing, presumed dead, probably at the hands of one of these giant constructed constructs, hoping to recover them or their bodies before returning to Stormreach. The most recent thing is the expedition is packing up and will be getting ready to go within the next day or 2.
Yeah, I share that with everyone with the commentary of, it looks like if Clacky hadn't found us, they'd probably still think we were dead. It looks like they're headed back to Stormreach as well. Hopefully we can beat them there.
With 3 whistles and bug spray, I have no doubt in my mind.
All right. So what do you want to do?
Head back into the jungle, question mark?
Alfonso holds up the whistle, thinking maybe it responds to a compass direction. Can I roll Arcana to see if it does? I know the answer.
You can roll Arcana, sure.
Intelligence-based character, everyone.
It's a 25.
You are so absolutely sure that it didn't do anything. There's nothing you're missing there. On a 25,
Cool.
That was a useless gesture.
Well, Then, in the pocket it goes. And I continue on in a randomly chosen compass direction. Eeny, meeny, miny, and a mo.
Okay. So now we can abstract time here a little bit.
Very well.
After the 3-hour very well.
Well, survival, just because you're out here. This is an abstracted time survival check.
God, I keep looking up at my mod like it's ever going to be more than 1. It's a 12.
Nat 20, 23. Let's go.
Holy shit. 15.
Excellent. Yeah, so you can, on those rolls, keep yourself pretty safe. You don't see anything familiar, even though you've traveled through these areas before. Mostly dense vegetation, some rocks, nothing of much note there. The air is still humid, it's hot. You hear these sounds of creatures, but nothing very close and nothing that sounds too huge or dangerous for now.
It appears we have kept out of harm's way thus far.
Nice. From the sound of Gallant's log, it's probably going to take a few days of travel to make it back to Stormreach, even with Clacky. So what's going to be your approach to this?
Alfonso will probably want to spend some time nearby. He will not venture too far. Just sifting through the earth to see if he can excavate anything of interest. If you want to just reconcile that with some nature checks as we go along to see if I find anything of interest. That would have been it.
Yeah, you wanted to call that a nature check, you think? That's the approach you're taking?
Yeah, unless there's anything specifically Istvan or Warden want to do.
Yeah.
Alfonso's going to be doing that over the course of this entire thing, here and there.
Okay.
Istvan would probably do something when we made camp for the night, but not before then.
And I think Green Warden's just watching out, trying to keep the party avoiding danger in the jungle.
Okay. So let's start with that nature check, Alfonso.
Alfonso will find a spot, look down to the earth, and realizing alongside of his tent, a lot of his excavation tools were left behind, and he'll just look down. Well, Luciano, we may be doing this together, and start to grab fistfuls of the earth and just look around. On a nature, only a 13.
Okay, so on a 13, you start digging into this earth, and below the surface, you start to see these sparkles. And as you dig and dig and dig, you're able to come up with about 8 gold worth of Eberron Dragon Shard. It's there in the earth. Nothing with any profound meaning on a 13, but found some Eberron Dragon Shard down there.
Okay.
Warden, let's do a perception check.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's a 17.
Nice.
Great. On a 17, you're looking amongst the wilderness here, through the trees all around, and you see a mote of green glowing light, not unlike what you look like beneath your helm. You look and it disappears.
Strange.
If it's not too far away from where we're at, I will try and follow it.
Okay.
Or the direction it came from.
Yeah, so you can make your way through a few trees back towards the direction it comes from. 17 is pretty strong. You can see it again once you pass through some of these trees.
Who goes there?
You don't get a response, but it's moving away from you. And at this point, if you travel any further with it, I'll consider it being separated from Istvan and Alfonso.
So I will call out back towards Istvan and Alfonso.
My friends, there is something beyond these trees.
What sort of something?
A strange light. Do you have a rope, or do you wish to follow?
Does rope come in Dungeoneer's pack?
Probably.
Yes. Interesting strange or dangerous strange?
Curious.
Well, curiosity has always been of value to me.
Curious and strangely familiar.
I do have the rope, but why don't we go together as friends?
Very well.
And if they trail behind me, not too far out of sight, I will try and find this thing again.
Now, where did you go?
Can I help?
Yeah, you can definitely help. Roll nature or perception with advantage.
Ooh, over there.
Where?
Nice. That is a dirty 20 nature.
Do you see it?
Yeah, so you are able to follow this for a ways. After a while, it leads you to what looks to be sort of a clearing. On that 20, you can see it travels ahead of you a little bit and joins a lot of other green motes here. But you see, before you can really get very close to that, there's someone else here, sitting on a nearby log, looking at this happen. This person has not noticed you yet. This is Zinni, one of the assistants of Croswell, the one who is a very talented illustrator.
This is a gnome, right?
Yeah, she's a gnome.
Okay.
And she's the one who sketched me in, like, the first...
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
After Warden said, "Paint me like one of your French girls."
Oh, stop. Stop. God damn you.
So she's sitting on a log, drawing this...
I'm sorry.
I refuse to laugh at
God
that.
damn you, Geppi.
It's funny, but I'm just on principle. I'm only smiling.
But I was going to say, but damn you got to admit you're smiling. Sorry, finish what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, let me do this description right. So she's sitting on a log. She's watching this convergence of green motes in and among the trees and roots and branches and rocks of this area, and she's drawing this as it's happening. She hasn't noticed you. You're pretty close to her, but she's very involved in her work here.
It would be impossible to know how long she's been away from the camp and how long we've been away. Can I roll insight on Zinni in general?
Sure.
Literally vibe check. Nothing more deep than that.
Vibe check.
Just general vibe check on Zinni. This is 16.
On a 16 vibe check, she's been pretty kind.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
She seems very curious. She was interested in Warden, drawing him. She is a very talented technical illustrator as well as an artist.
I have consistently gotten a good, come ti chiami, feeling from this Zinni. I think that we should talk to her. Signori Warden, she may have answers to your questions, and what's more, if I am wrong, we can just run away with our new whistles. We'll be fine.
Slowly, I start walking towards this scene.
Can Alfonso crawl up and perch on your shoulder while you do that?
Fine.
Okay.
And as I approach and make ourselves known...
What do you make of them, small one?
So that startled her. She jumps a little bit, looks up from her drawing. Oh, it's you. Didn't think you were coming back. And you two, they think you're dead.
We have not come back.
Let them think we're dead.
So I shouldn't tell them that I saw you?
Aye.
Signora Zinni, we would most appreciate this. Would you mind? I can roll persuasion if you think she needs to be persuaded.
One of you roll persuasion with advantage.
I will.
Pretty, whatever.
I have a +6.
Okay, yeah, you do beat me a little bit. Okay.
As I try and draw her attention towards the scene rather than the three of us, I roll a 23.
Okay. On that 23, she looks at you, and even though you don't really have a face that she can get some insight into, I think that she feels your concern that perhaps reconnecting with the expedition would not be in your best interest. And she nods resolutely. Okay. How are you staying safe out here?
We have a top-of-the-line bug repellent. It has been very helpful on our quest.
Zinni, what else have you found out here?
It's strange. Look there. And she points towards this convergence of green motes. And, Warden, on your 20 nature check from earlier, you can see what she's pointing out. It looks like almost a figure, like a face, in the trees and the branches, the leaves, the roots. And these green motes are swarming around it.
Would I be able to roll Arcana on this?
Sure. I would say it's more of a nature thing, but you can try Arcana.
I rolled pretty well. I'll take the 3 hit on my mod. It's a 24 on nature.
Okay, yeah. 24 on nature. This does seem to be unusual. This is not the type of thing you've seen in the jungle the entire time. This is something different, living here, animating these trees and branches.
They appear to be attracted to this place.
Do you think it's some sort of spirit?
Perhaps.
At the mention of the word spirit, Alfonso will perk up a little more.
Can I try and learn a little more about the trees themselves, this little area? Does this seem similar to where I came from as far as it looking old, or like there are any ruins or anything around?
This is not like the place where you were trapped for many years, but this is a lot like the type of place that you may have lived in your time as a Green Warden.
Oh, shit.
It reminds me of the elves.
The elves?
There is a great magic here.
Would this give me any aha moment or memory from Tervalistus at the mention of elves? Alfonso was wounded in Tervalistus and woke up with some sort of spirit imbuement. Would that ping anything for Alfonso?
I think, what was your 24 nature check from earlier?
Yeah.
What would it be as Arcana?
27.
Yeah. On either of those or those two together, you can feel some amount of connection here, some similarity, something about the spirits animating these trees and branches and the spirit within your arm of your brother. There's something here.
I would say to Zinni and the Warden, would it be cruel or ill-advised to take one of these motes?
I don't know. I haven't gotten any closer to it.
I'm going to go up to them, get closer, and see if they're big enough for me to grab in my hands, or if they start to move away from me. They're animated, right? They move of their own accord.
Yes, they are buzzing around like fireflies almost.
I'm going to slowly walk towards them and see if they start to disperse or if they stay where they are.
They don't really react to your presence at all.
I'm going to look back to Zinni and Warden, give them a minute, and slowly take out both of my hands cupped to try and put one in my hand.
Okay. They aren't moving very quickly, so you are able to close your hand around one of them, but it passes right through you and escapes.
It's like a wisp. I'm unable to contain it.
How long have you been observing them in this place?
Not very long. Only a few hours. I just found this place today.
I will approach where they're all the densest and look around. I want to see if there's anything in the trees or the roots that might suggest something going on here.
Okay. As you approach, these green motes swarm around you. They make their way around your helm and your body. How close do you want to get here to where Zinni pointed out this face?
As close as I can get.
Okay. So, yeah, you walk right up to it, and as you approach, the eyes of this face open.
Whoa.
And so this entire face, it's made of tree. It's not like an eyeball, but in the eyes there is green.
Whoa. I think I would take a knee in front of this thing.
I am a Green Warden. Who are you, oh great tree spirit?
You ask that question, and as you look into this thing's eyes and the motes of green light swarm around you, you are filled with ancient knowledge. It all comes rushing back to you.
Whoa.
Yes. So, roll a history check.
Okay. 14?
You're filled with ancient knowledge. What is it you want to know?
What I am supposed to do next.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
No. That's great. That's great. Okay. So.
No. I've got a better one. Where do I belong?
Where do you belong?
This is me simultaneously thinking, am I supposed to go back to the ruins that I came out of? Am I supposed to follow these people? Am I supposed to wander the jungle forever? Where do I belong?
Right. Okay. So, you feel your consciousness meld into this natural setting, and you feel connected at once with all of your Green Warden brethren, but also something bigger. You can see the entire history of the Green Wardens.
They are my brothers.
You can see even further back, you can just feel this power of nature and the elven druids who watch over this place. And a voice speaks to you from everywhere and from nowhere at once. And in Elven, the dialect of Elven that you know, it says, "Welcome home, brother." And you know that the Green Wardens served their purpose. They were a circumstance of the times. They were made of the elements of nature by these elven druids who, at the end of their long lives, choose a final resting place where they would continue to do their work of guarding over the natural world, and their acolytes would visit and continue the work for them. And as they aged even more and eventually died, they became one with the natural world. But in the late age of the giant empire, the druids needed to be a bit more martial. And so instead of completely melding into nature, instead they took on characteristics of warriors. And that's what you are.
I understand. They never left. We are one.
In Elvish, I simply respond,
Thank you. I will continue this work, brothers.
You also know that the Green Wardens completed their task. They returned back to nature, where they were always meant to be, except for you. For some reason, there's a spark that animates you, something that sets you apart. Your place is not here.
I see. I must continue on. I am not done.
You are your own master now. Follow your own fate.
Yes.
this face is still staring out towards me.
Yes.
Before I get up, I will take the tiny dragon shard that I had found, and I will try and rest it somewhere at the foot of this large structure, these roots, to leave here as tribute to this place.
It leaves you with one more final parting gesture. Whenever you are in need, call upon your brothers.
Whoa.
So, you get this fun feature here. Once per long rest, you're going to receive a Mote of Potential. That's like the Creation Bardic.
Holy shit.
That's for you to have, as if the Bardic were cast on you. Once per long rest, you just have one of those
I see.
to use as you will.
Neat.
And whenever you are surrounded by the elements of nature, you can cast Wrath of Nature once per day.
Dang. That's cool. I think I sit there for a moment after putting this shard down. You almost see me become so still that I turn back into this mountain of rocks for a moment. And you see the grass and the moss blowing in the wind around these moats. And then I raise my helm up and you see the very similar light beneath my helm burning. And I rise and I return to the party.
As you rise and turn, begin walking away from that spot, you hear another voice. Yes, hello. My name is Luciano Antonio Rocatella.
What?
What?
Who are you? Where am I? What is this place?
Who are you?
So I'm an earshot of this, right?
That you heard. Yes.
Okay.
Wait, all of them heard this?
This was a very quiet conversation between you and nature before, and then this loud voice of Luciano. Everyone heard.
Okay.
I look at Alfonso. Is anything going on with his arm?
Yeah, Alfonso, so you notice that your arm, still functioning as your arm, but is lifeless, like Luciano is no longer inhabiting it. But instead, you see a nearby branch and trees and rocks rustling as this voice talks, almost as if Luciano is here.
I'll run up to that branch or that area. Luciano, what are you doing? Where are you?
I don't know. Is that you, Alfonso?
It is me, Alfonso.
Oh, it's so good to see you again, brother.
I do not see you. Where are you?
I'm right here.
I don't see him, right?
How curious.
You don't see him, no, but you can see these elements of nature animating with his voice. There's a nearby tree talking with its hands. It's waving its branches around.
Making finger purses.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Okay. Mia Fratelli, I am very confused. Did you leave my arm, or have you been here this whole time?
I don't know, Alfonso. I've been with you the whole time. I don't know where I am now.
Do you need help?
I don't know. Alfonso, you would not believe the things I've seen.
Now I'm getting Luigi vibes.
It's such a Luigi voice. I love it. It's perfect.
So what have you seen? Tell me everything. Please, start from the beginning.
Oh, from the beginning. Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean, I was with you. We were together. We were in battle. Extraordinary pain, horrible noises and flashes of light, and it all began to fade away. And then nothing. Darkness and quiet, but a looming figure pulling me.
What did this figure look like?
I cannot say. All I know is it was there. But then I heard a voice. I turn and look. I see this little light. Cannot hear what the voice was saying, so I come closer and closer and closer. And then I hear a familiar voice. I don't know what they're saying. They're talking about me, that I had passed. I'd gone away. But I hadn't gone away. I'm right here.
Did it sound like Signora Shealin?
Ah, yes. That was her name. I forget things, Alfonso. Yes, it was her. And then you. But I couldn't talk back. As much as I try, I could not talk to you. I wave my arms. I shout out until my voice is hoarse, but nothing. Until one day, I see you. I see your face. You came to me. You remember? We talked.
I talk to you every day.
Yes, but this was different. I talked to you too.
This is referring to the time where he called out for help.
Yes, it was in your dream or half sleep.
Yeah. I do remember this. Do you still need my help? What are you feeling?
Oh, feel is such a small word for what all this is. I want to come back, Alfonso. Bring me back.
There is nothing I want more in the whole world, my brother.
I walk up behind Alfonso.
It would seem this place, this great resting site of a powerful ancient elf, it is connected to the spirits, the earth, the trees. I wonder if this is what is caused your brother's voice to become heard by us.
As Warden puts that thought in my mind, can I just roll Arcana to rack my brain for what this might be?
Absolutely.
All right, it's 23.
Okay, so on that 23, given what you just witnessed, the face in the tree, the Green Warden communing with the ancients, the spirits of old, and then the spirit of Luciano inhabiting this same place in this same way. On a 23, you can connect that Shaylin, very talented, high-level artificer, very learned in those ways, but also the ancient ways of the elves. Probably used a similar sort of technique to create this connection between the artifice of your arm and Luciano's soul, as the souls of the elven druids inhabited the Green Wardens. The same type of thing is happening here. Also on that 23, there's probably a bit you can learn from how the Green Warden works, how the soul inhabits this machine.
It's exactly where we're going. So Alfonso will, up to the tree, just say, I am so grateful that you are here, but I want you back, and I will find a way, brother. I promise you. Then Alfonso will turn to Warden. Do you know why it is that you came back? Do you know why it is that you continue to exist?
I am to fulfill my own path now. Alfonso, I do not know the way in which your brother's soul was spared, contained, or set aside, but if there is a way to complete this ritual that has begun, we shall find it.
That we will, mi amici. We will do everything we can. Signore Warden, you are meant to go your own path, but if you accomplish what it is you seek to do, will your light continue to shine, or will it fade away?
I turn Alfonso towards the wisps that are all still congregating in this area, towards this large druid structure. I hold my arm out towards all of this.
These are the lights of countless souls of forgotten ages past, my friend, and their lights will never fade. The elves of the ancient days, they are one with this place now, as they became one with the stone and earth to create the Green Wardens. So too did they become one with the trees you see before you, the wind in the air, and the light in the sky. The light of one spirit may be put from one place to another in this world or the many worlds beyond, but it never fades away.
Is what you're getting at, like, Luciano is gone. The spirit remains much in the way that elven spirits remain.
His soul is inhabiting your arm, much in the way the soul of an ancient elven druid is inhabiting the Green Warden. On your great checks from earlier, I can tell you that he has a little bit more power in this place than he ordinarily does in just your arm, because of the ancient power that exists here. He can't just do this with any tree.
This is more like reincarnation. Souls just don't go away, they just go from place to place, or at least in the elven regard.
In the elven regard, yes. Exactly, because they do just go away, but in this particular case, the elves, through ancestor worship, keep the souls of the ancients alive.
Looking back up to the tree that Luciano seems to be inhabiting at this moment. Luciano and I could never be too sure that we belonged in Terra Valistas. We were outsiders, but it warms my heart to know that in some small way, we did belong. My mentor, Shaylin, she gave me the choice to keep my brother. That is all I care about. That is my purpose. Signore Warden, You now have a choice too. What will you do next?
I will help you see your brother again, Alfonso. If this place has made anything regarding this clear to me, it is that we are connected in this way. Your brother's spirit will live on.
Alfonso will take a moment and look back up to the tree, and then, in an instant, back to the usual Alfonso. Yes, molto bene, Signore Warden. I think our paths are much aligned, eh? When we make way back out into the jungle, well, think of how good we've been together so far. Now, la strength, la forza of being on the common path, yes?
Geppi invoking the Forza. Very good.
Alfonso, your mechanical arm, again, animates, separates from your body, and as if Luciano is reaching out at you, puts its hand on your shoulder. You can now control this mechanical arm as if you're using Mage Hand.
Nice.
So you just learn the cantrip Mage Hand, but it is not an extra hand, it's your actual hand. So it limits what you can do with your two hands while you're using it.
Is the tree still animated as well?
In this place, yeah, he has some control over that, some amount of expression that he can use there.
Got it. As Luciano puts my robotic hand on my own shoulder, I put my hand on the mechanical one. Perhaps as we make our way back through the jungle, we can spend some time together, Signore Warden. I'd like to study you more if I may, and what's more, I may be able to bolster your natural abilities. This is something I did in the war, in Tervalistas, back home, where I'm from.
Very well, Alfonso. Something escapes me, and that is how it is you came to have this advanced arm with such wondrous ancient properties. I would like to know more about who taught you these things.
Is Zinni still here?
Zinni has been drawing this whole time.
I sit down next to her, having been watching this play out from a distance as well. You see why we cannot return.
Yes, I do.
Corvair has forgotten this way of being, a way that cannot be counted, cannot be touched, but is simply felt and understood.
Yes, I see that now. I don't know. I don't think any of them can be trusted with this. I think you should know that Rizian doesn't seem interested in pursuing the Green Warden anymore. He stopped talking about that days ago. Seemed pretty frustrated that he couldn't catch you, but I think he's let it go. It seemed to be a lost cause.
The Green Warden walks back towards the two of them, maybe catching the very end of that.
I do not believe our place will bring us back to your camp, regardless of what Rizian would wish or not.
I understand.
There are dangers in travel with our very good new friend here, but there may be more answers in Tervalistas. After all, the elves live there. But what's more is my mentor, Shailene. She is the one that, as far as I know, made this happen, holding up my arm. Perhaps these people would have a respect for their history, a care for Signore Warden here. This may be a safe place for him, and what's more, give us the answers we need.
We'd have to be smart about it.
We could jump in the bag of holding.
That would be not being smart about it. Might be prudent of us to find some way to hide Warden if we are going to bring him back to Corvair. Also, I don't know how much the fighting has progressed, how safe things are in Tervalistas. I'm not saying we can't do it, but let's go to Stormreach. Let's get some information. Let's do this in the most methodical way possible. Aye?
Something comes to me. This might be fucking ridiculous. And Scala has a look of, coming from you, I can only imagine.
Cannot wait.
You know, Alfonso will size up and down the warden's frame. Back home, when I wasn't making armor, I would dabble in a hobby of mine. I would make small little clockwork toys. Perhaps I could fashion our friend here to look just like one. A large mechanical toy that we walk around with. Who would suspect that? Anyone looking for a warden would think nothing of it.
A disguise? Well, if it's convincing, I don't see a problem with it.
Andy, you want to go to Stormreach as a toy?
It'll be a fucking nutcracker.
Good God.
To journey across the sea. Perhaps a disguise, as you have said, is in order.
I think it will be a good way for us to get to know each other even better.
Zinni is going to say, all right, I should be getting back now. This has been fascinating. Are you sure you don't want me to at least tell them that you're okay? That you're safe? I don't have to tell them I saw you, Green Warden.
I look at Istvan.
For the time being, I think we're better off dead.
Okay. She hops down from the log and walks over to you, Alfonso, and hands you a drawing. It's the tableau of the hand on your shoulder and your hand on that hand.
God damn.
Nice. Signora Zinni, I will treasure this for as long as I draw breath. Which, again, is no longer if you see gallant, huh?
Understood. She pulls a Clacky whistle out of her pocket, blows it, and about 10 minutes later, Clacky comes through the brush.
Clacky is such a good NPC.
And they walk away. Clacky takes one last look towards you, and then turns and leaves.
I give a wave holding the whistle.
Okay.
And real quick, we do have to acknowledge that Clacky is this campaign's Gorpinzorp. Or Zip and Zop, or whatever variant they're in.
You'll never know their real names.
It'd be great if the next episode you're like Clunky
Canon.
and we just ignore that it's a new name, but it's kind of almost the same.
All right, they leave. It's getting later now.
Perhaps, as the nightfall takes this place, we should rest here in the company of these wisps.
I would not mind to spend more time here. It gives me a certain comfort. Signori, do you think maybe tonight we can get started? I think with this time I could get through maybe your turning mechanism. You are, after all, much larger than any toy I've made before.
Very well.
So give me a survival check with advantage if you're setting up camp in this place.
Thank God, that was an advantage. 18.
Unnatural 20.
A 22.
Okay. Warden, you actually know from your communing with nature, this is a very safe place. That's practically the purpose of the Green Wardens.
Okay. Jimmy, would you want me to roll anything, get started on this Green Warden research/toy making project?
Now that we've settled on that narratively, let's talk mechanically. How do you envision this happening?
I would imagine, and I'm not trying to get the highest roll out of you, but I would imagine that a toy is made with Tinker's tool, so I would be doubling my proficiency for this check.
Okay, sure.
And I forget what engineering falls under. What did we do for Clork?
Engineering was just a tool proficiency.
Yeah, it's just a tool proficiency check, but I would call any of this Arcana, which you have proficiency, right?
Do you want me to double that proficiency?
You can double that proficiency if you're using your Tinker's tools.
Okay, I will do that.
Are you adding a double-digit number? What is this?
My mod now is 11 for this roll.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
What feature are you using here?
Tinker is the feature. I'm tinking.
I see.
29.
Okay. Wow.
Does Green Warden have Gatling guns now, or?
I'll count that as a success.
I would fucking hope so.
So, yeah, you feel like if you kept working in this way, you could glean some knowledge from the Green Warden as well. You could possibly, if the Green Warden is consenting, make some improvements here. You could make his sword +1. You could do that fairly easily.
Based on that roll, how did I do in terms of progress of making him look like a mechanical toy?
It's throwing me a curveball mechanically, so let me slow down on this.
Maybe this is something I can help with. Make some parts that
Yeah.
fit over Warden's body and make it look as if Warden is more of a modern construct, one that might be typically seen around Corvair.
Now that makes a lot more sense.
As I do this work, it's dawning on me that perhaps my plan was a little short-sighted. Istvan, you're familiar with more modern smithery. Maybe we do this one together, huh?
Just tell me the specifications, I can make the parts you need.
Perfetto. Allora, here's what we do. And then Alfonso and Istvan will noodle off of each other and buddy up and figure out a best way to try and make Green Warden look less like an elven, rocky, natural construct and more of a modern-looking construct that would belong in Corvair.
If there's something I can start working on now, with some of that salvaged metal from the abandoned mining camp, Istvan would start working on that.
This is my favorite moment of the campaign so far. Istvan and Alfonso working on Green Warden.
So you're putting these metal plates on the Green Warden, and you need to use some amount of artifice in order to make this look convincing and to also have the Green Warden maintain his skill set even when covered with all of this stuff. So it'll take you a week to craft a convincing disguise for Warden. The DC for recognizing this disguise will be the average of 1 roll each day by Alfonso. You can add your Arcana and Tool proficiency to that. So you just got started with that with your first day. Now it's getting darker. You feel you're pretty safe here. I'm assuming, Istvan, you have a fire going.
Always.
So at this point, as you're heading to bed, we're going to enter some downtime here. You'll be generally traveling over the next few days towards Stormreach. Clacky is always at your beck and call. The expedition has packed up and is moving towards Stormreach as well. So you are bound by their speed. You can't get too far ahead of them because Clacky has to work with both of you. But you do have a period of days here where you can do some stuff that you might want to do.
I would say for all of those days, Alfonso's going to look forward to the nighttime when he can bond with his friends and bond some armor to one of his friends.
Does anyone have the full count? How much worth of Dragon Shard do we have?
I don't know if it's for all of us, but I think on my person, I have 245 gold worth.
I think that is for all of us, because I think we found a big chunk and we all gave it to you.
245 is our count.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's probably not enough to make a magic item.
200 gold. You can craft an uncommon item. What are you trying to do?
Well, if we can make something, Istvan is taking requests.
Is non-disadvantaged armor at uncommon? Let's see here. I forget what the name of that is called.
I think it's just mithril armor that lets you have stealth checks normally and move your normal speed.
Yeah.
But obviously that would require a special material.
Right.
Yeah, it would.
I'll draw a line there, yeah.
Alfonso might just ask Istvan if they could do anything with the green gem.
Now there's an idea.
All I'll say, not as Alfonso, is like, just don't turn it into a red glowing gem. We've seen those before. They're not great.
How large is the green gem that Alfonso found? Remind me?
It's bigger than your hand, but not by much. You can hold it.
Okay.
Istvan, I see that the brain of yours is working. Do you have any ideas?
Well, sometimes when you got a thing like this, I'm not an artificer, I'm not an enchanter like you are, but if you can put it into a point in a weapon or a piece of armor where the design blooms around it, you can diffuse its power throughout the craft itself. So I'm thinking if I've got some time here, perhaps I could modify one of our own pieces to make use of such a thing, so that it's not just something you hold in your hand, but something that functions with the rest of your equipment. Just like Zukom did with Temper here, indicating the Kyber shard that's embedded in my hammer.
Okay, I see what you do. I trust you, friend. Here, take these. Although I do realize that I am now giving Istvan a -1 because at night this thing is shit. Just be careful. Nighttime it is not so good, but hey, maybe there's something you improve.
So, question about your armor, Geppi. The weapons that are inbuilt to the armor themselves, are they attached to a certain part of the armor?
Yeah, both of mine, the weapons attached to my armor through the fists, though I would argue with the flavor of my character and Luciano, that is separate from the armor, but the other fist would be embedded as part of the armor when I go into Infiltrator or Guardian.
Okay, then I'll start modifying your other gauntlet.
Cool.
Such that it can adopt this green gem, and I'll try and make it so it is symmetrical with Luciano's gauntlet, so where that socket would be, I do some work and mold out a spot where this green gem can socket in.
Nice.
Nice. Alfonso, you want to give me your Arcana check for the day for this work here?
Yep, that is natural 20, which will probably become the highest roll of the game at a 31.
All right.
Yes, well done, Alfonso. This evening's work is quite remarkable.
I feel especially good about today.
You're going to make the Green Warden forget who he really is.
No, never.
Never.
Good thing there are no mirrors out in this jungle.
I'm only doing it for the sake of a disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, good. I thought you weren't coming.
Come on in. Quick.
Dusting himself off, Cavatappi will just say, "What is this, the Fifth Element or something?"
What?
Flying cars in a shootout.
Oh, God.
I haven't seen The Fifth Element.
It's been forever.
It's a movie.
I shove Cavatappi ahead.
Just keep going.
We'll walk in.
All right. Paunchy sticks his head out, looks both ways. Pinchy flies away, and Paunchy closes the door and locks it, bolts it shut. All right. You have the money?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Great.
Can I have it?
Well, why don't we take a look at it all together, make sure it's the right amount?
Great. That's what I intend to do. That's why I'm here.
Perfect.
Give me the bag.
What table would you like me to lay this out on?
Quit talking and show 'em.
Is there a table I can throw all the money on to display it?
Give me the bag.
Gotta be your way, huh? All right, fine. Asked and delivered. I'll shove it into his hand.
So Paunchy takes the bag, walks over to a table, and flips it over.
What kind of bag is this, Jimmy?
Almost didn't get our payout for this episode. This is a certified bag of holding.
Feel free to be as rough with that bag as you want, Mr. Paunchy. It ain't gonna rip or anything like that at all. High quality engineering.
It ain't no haversack, that's for sure.
Oof, no. Would never try to pull off a job like this with a haversack. All right, so Paunchy flips over the bag like he's going to dump it out on the table, and instead of all the coins dumping out, a steady stream of coins comes out of the bag, stacks up into very even piles as Paunchy is clearly doing math in his head. He's calculating, he's counting the money. And then once all of these stacks are in place, a metal case tumbles out of the bag and topples over all the stacks. And the coins fall all over the place.
Hey, what's going on here?
What's this? Why is this here?
I don't remember putting that in there. We should open up, making sure it's not some sort of a scrying device.
Scrying device? They can use these to track us.
That's what I'm worried about. Exactly. Why don't you open it up?
Right. And aside from all that, Paunchy gestures to all of the coins all over the floor. That was 10,000. And this, Paunchy picks up the case and looks at it, is an extra 100. So, you want to explain what happened here?
100 or 100,000?
100. So there's a total of 10,000 and 100 gold here.
Oh, just throw the 100 gold out the window. Then they won't even know about it.
That's so not the point here.
Listen, pal, we didn't put that in the bag.
You must have put it in the bag.
Brugg, you think it was that other one there, Von Nichts? Really was in a hurry to go down the alleyways.
Well, where is Von Nichts?
Wait just a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Do I recognize this thing at all?
What?
Whatever this case is.
The metal case? It looks just like the ones that were in the bank vault that day. You opened up the 5,000 gold cases, dumped gold into the bag, but there's one in the bag too. I don't have time for this. I can't be here if the watch shows up or whatever happens next. Paunchy flusteredly waves his hands around. The gold coins collect themselves back into the bag of holding. He produces from his vest pocket 3 1,000 gold banknotes, puts them out on the table, takes off his gloves, drops them on the floor, and leaves with the bag.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Oh yeah, right. Don't contact us. And he slams the door.
I picture he left, opened the door again, said that, and slammed it. Beautiful. Perfect.
I pick up one of the notes, and I'd like to look out the nearest window or door.
So this is a basement, a side room of a warehouse. There's just that steel door that you came in, and then one other door just out into the rest of the structure. So you can look out the steel door you came into. I'm
going to grab my note and run for that door. I mean, should just grab the other one, too.
I look out the door.
Give me a perception check.
Cool. That's a -1.
No!
Negative. Oh, you have -2 to perception?
Wow.
I just look at Cavatappi.
Listen, pal, whether Von Nichts or whoever they are coming back or not, whoever put that in the bag, it ain't my problem. We got our pay. I'm out of here. Nice working with you. Goodbye.
And I walk out the door.
Hold on a minute, pal. I'm coming right behind you. I'm going to grab the other 2 notes that are on the table and go as well.
You little shit.
Keeping it warm for you, pal.
Taking my fucking money.
Do you do anything with the case?
I'm going to get as far the fuck away from that case as possible. That case screams no good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, you better leave that there.
You got a good hideout spot, Brugg, that you like to use?
Hideout? I'm going home.
Okay, yeah. So you leave this side door of this alleyway. I assume you walk in different directions?
I'm not going to fucking follow Brugg home. At some point I'll split off. I don't know where I'm heading.
Okay. Each of you give me a stealth check as you leave.
Get a load of this guy. I mean, really.
Stealth. Oh, yeah, I have a pretty good stealth mod. It's a 14, which it was not a good roll, but the mod's okay for level 1.
And I got a 17. I take out a very small, for the size of my enormous head, hat and just sort of tip it down, and I skulk into the crowds.
Nice. All right, that feels like the end of that episode.
I mean, what a freaking job.
Let's do a survival check, group survival check, just for being in the jungle.
14.
17.
Uh-oh. That's a 4.
All right. So, in these depths of the jungles, you're getting into a part of the jungle that has really huge trees and really huge animals. And you see a ways off, it's not really that close to you, a mammoth. If anything, it looks bigger than you'd expect a mammoth to be. It's enormous, probably 30 feet tall.
Have I ever seen them before?
You can roll nature.
It's an 11.
That's also an 11.
No, not really, no. You haven't been to this part of the jungle. You're moving away from where you are mostly from.
I do not recognize this, Signori Warden, but whatever it is, one stomp and we go pop pop.
Neither do I. It seems we have traveled far from my former realm. What a large creature.
Onatar's beard. Large is an understatement.
You said it's far off in the distance.
Yeah, it's far enough away that it hasn't noticed you, but you see it because it's huge.
Okay. How about we let this thing pass and hide in the brush, huh? I'm gonna roll stealth, if that's cool.
I don't think that's really necessary. It's not concerned with you.
Yeah, I would prefer to let this thing pass.
Yeah.
DM agrees.
Observe from a respectful distance.
Absolutely.
It's going to be on its way then.
Cue a little bit of Jurassic Park music, and we're moving on.
All right. So another day passes. Let's have another Arcana check.
26.
Good. And give me one more. We're abstracting time here.
30.
God. This is great.
Yeah.
These are high rolls, too.
15 was the lowest so far.
Yeah.
And that's what, 4 out of 7?
Very good so far.
We now cut to Brugg at home.
Brugg, describe your surroundings. And what are you doing here on this day?
You would see me fiddling my large hands, a set of old keys. I've just closed the door behind me and have finished bolting and locking several locks, upwards of half dozen individual non-magical locks. Brugg is not fancy in any way with any sort of arcane protection devices, and he turns around.
I mean, the mouth on that guy, he just went off script like every other line.
And he looks out over his one-room studio apartment, a bed far too small for him that folds up against the wall, a small wash basin and kitchenette, and window barely bigger than the size of his head that overlooks the feet of the sidewalk outside of this apartment complex, seemingly high enough up in whatever spire this building is to not be a high-rise above one sidewalk, but rather the basement of another.
I feel like the 6 individual locks, Alwyn would be looking at this and saying, what phenomenal interior design.
All right. So you're here in your apartment. After a little while, you hear a knock at the door.
Oh, good grief.
I get up off of the side of the bed.
Love the old king ringing out of the pocket again.
And I look through a small eye hole in the door.
Okay. You see 2 people. You see a Sharn watch guard, and you see a well-dressed human next to this guard.
You gotta be kidding me.
I put the banknote under the bed,
They'll never find it there.
and then I unlock all of the locks and crack the door open far enough that they can just see my face, the some 1.5 above theirs.
Can I help you?
Salvatore Briggs,
Who's asking?
we're with the King's Dark Lanterns. We just have a few questions for you.
I do not open the door any further. I stare directly down at them.
Well, go on.
Aren't you going to invite us in, Brugg? Or is it Briggs?
Why does this cop feel like the main character?
I think I'm gonna stand right here, and you're gonna stand right there. What can I help you with?
We have a positive ID on you from earlier this afternoon. You were involved in a bank heist?
I was working all day. I just got home. I'm very tired. I didn't go to no bank.
I see. The Sharn watch guard is taking notes in a little notepad as you say that. Is there anybody who can provide an alibi for your whereabouts earlier today?
You motherfucker, Jimmy.
What's amazing is, like, Andy's face is also Brugg's face, because Andy's like, I don't know what the fuck to say right now.
I'm trying to think.
So good.
I'm trying to think.
When a cop comes to your door, you ask for two things, a warrant and a lawyer.
I know that, but this is Efron.
Listen, unless you got some sort of charge you want to put me under, something that's more than hearsay to back up this claim, I'm gonna shut this door right now before I call the landlord here and have them boot you off of this building.
I don't think that would go very well for you. The guard on duty at the bank ID'd you by name. And you're looking at charges of robbery in excess of 10,000 galifars, 2 counts of assault, 6 counts of grievously injuring a Sharn watchguard, and leaving the scene of a crime.
You motherfucker, Jimmy.
So, by my calculation, that's probably about 50 years in federal lockup. Unless...
Federal lockup? Listen, if you guys had any reason to bring an upstanding citizen like me down to the lockup, you wouldn't be standing here asking me these questions. Now, I've had about enough of this.
And I close the door and I begin locking all of the locks.
The more finely dressed one of the two sticks his foot in the door as you go to close it.
Can I make some sort of roll for that?
Yeah, you can make a flat strength check.
Okay.
And he's going to make a constitution save.
Yep. Yeah, he is. Because that's a 23.
Jesus. Oh, that's a nat 1.
Oh, pancake this fucker's foot.
Well, now they've got you on assaulting a royal agent.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I don't know how you expected this to go, but I'm going to try and get out of this. So
Yeah, you are.
Brugg ain't going down like this. I have practiced doing all of these locks very quickly. So I lock all of the locks, and then I'm going to pull the curtain that's covering where the bed goes into the wall, and it reveals a false wall that I go through into the apartment next door.
Whoa.
I take the banknote, obviously.
Obviously.
And I'm just assuming that you have your weapon on you.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So where are you going?
I'm going to use the window next door, which is a much larger window that is actually an escape window that goes up onto the next street above this building.
I love the old Deus Ex player chooses their own escape route.
I mean, if I can, that's what I'm doing.
Well, you might as well try. I suspect Scala and I will be doing something similar soon enough.
I'm getting the fuck out of here, I can say that much. Goddamn Cavatappi.
So you hear behind you
It's
the...
my fault.
I don't know, but it is.
What did I do? The Von
So
Mitch has
you,
every right, but you don't. To say that about me after I incriminated you.
The fuck's an ogre gotta do to get an honest day's burglary around here?
So you hear behind you, they're trying to knock down this door. You hear loud banging.
Hopefully this goes better for you than the last time we ran from the cops in Eberron, huh?
So you're trying to escape out this window, this ogre-sized window in the apartment next door.
I mean, it's big enough for me to try.
It's the outline of Brugg.
All right, so you're going to open the window, and as you climb out onto the fire escape, you can see... Wait, your passive perception's like an 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you see anything, you hear, there he is.
Shit.
Right outside of your apartment window, right next door, are 2 guards posted
God
up
damn
waiting for
it.
you to come out.
I'm running down the street in the other direction.
All right, roll initiative.
Okay. That is a dirty 20.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Normally that would be really good. 18 and 19, but not in this situation. So you get to go first.
Okay, I am running. I am going to use as much movement as I can take on my turn. That would get me to a side street.
Okay. You probably can find a lot of these little side streets or alleyways or things like that, but it's gonna be hard for you to hide from them when they're so close.
Right. So I'll dash on the same turn.
You use your full movement to run the fuck away. You're fast, right? 40 feet?
I have 40 feet, yeah.
Okay. These 2 guards are running after you.
Okay.
Stop! That's all they're gonna do this turn.
that would put me 20 feet ahead?
That makes sense, yes.
Okay. I'm just completely ignoring them. I'm just running down the street.
Like a good, honest guy. All honest guys run from this situation.
Hey, I'm doing my nighttime exercise, all right?
Okay.
He's getting away.
They must have rolled a really high insight to say that line.
Yeah, it's your turn again.
I am going to continue in the same manner. I move and dash.
They are going to just move this turn, and they are going to take a shot at you
Okay.
as you are getting further away from them, and they are not able to keep up with you.
Yep.
Okay, first one takes a shot, pulls out his arcane pistol. This is with disadvantage, past 30 feet, and you're now...
They moved twice and dashed once, so that's 90, and I'm at 160.
Wow, okay, that is nothing. That's 4 to hit. For the first one, bullet whizzes past.
Yeah, just comically bad aim.
It's like a little Eberron dragon shard,
Ah,
and it leaves a purple streak as it flies by. So, pew! Okay, second shot. Second shot is a 9 to hit.
no.
No. Okay, that's their turn. And it's you again. After this move, I'd say you're no longer rolling stealth with disadvantage, because you're more than a full turn of movement away from them at this point.
That's true. So then I will move and I will look for any sort of side alley doors. Anywhere to get inside.
Okay, I'm going to make you roll perception for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a 14.
On a 14, in one of these alleyways that you run past, you can see a screen door a little bit ajar.
An important storm, am I right?
I say to myself as I crack open the door and look inside.
Okay, so you are in the backmost part of a kitchen of probably one of the shittiest restaurants
Sure.
in the entire city of Sharn.
Great.
So if you want to roll a stealth check,
You got it.
in this place, you don't see anyone here right now.
God damn it. I have proficiency in stealth. That is a 7.
Ooh, this is gonna be a... One of them rolled a 5.
And the other.
The other one rolled a 15.
Yeah, of course.
All right. I think you went down here. You hear them coming.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna go further into this kitchen.
Okay, yeah, so now you're heading towards the frontmost
Yeah.
part of the kitchen. You're going past these big counters and ovens and things like that.
Does it seem like there's anybody in here, or is this closed up for the night?
It's probably closed up for the night. It's getting to be mid-evening.
Yeah, I will go as far as I can this round and try and hide again.
Yeah, you make it out into the restaurant area proper.
Great.
You can see that you're behind this storefront. There is nobody in here. All the Everbright lanterns are turned off. It's dark and just shitty, dirty tables and chairs. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh no.
Different dice. It's because my blue dice are all the way on the other side of the goddamn table.
Keeping the fuck over there.
So,
No sympathy for you.
and that brings me up to a 10.
You are up against Jimmy Dice. Double digits is actually a good place to be for this.
And a Jimmy diced it.
Uh-oh.
That is a 4 and a 9.
Whoa!
Oh my god!
Hey, old Brugg's still not.
I thought you said he went in here. Well, I don't know. You know, I saw the open door. Did they hear you say Brugg still got it?
No.
All right. We should go back and tell the boss.
I think I find whatever the biggest table in here is and hide just underneath it. There's no covering or anything. I'm just in the dark under a table.
Yeah, you are. And you hear these guys leave back out the back door.
Good grief. Well, time for another alias.
All right, we'll leave that there. Roll another group survival check as you're traveling through the jungle here.
17.
Uh-oh, 9.
12.
Okay, that just barely beats that DC. Now you see through the trees, different place than yesterday, a huge bipedal creature walking around. Appears like a giant. Roll a perception check.
21.
13.
16.
All right, 21's good enough. This thing only has one eye. And it looks a little bit more primitive than the giants that you encountered days ago.
Cyclops.
What was your first hint?
It's
Yeah. So because you beat the DC here, you see it. It's a ways off. You could definitely steer clear of it if that's what you're choosing to do.
Do I know anything about Cyclopses?
You could definitely roll history for that.
Okay.
Signore Warden, tell me everything you know about Cyclopses.
I got a 4.
We all look expectantly at Alfonso, the smartest among us.
Okay, it's 25. What do I know about Cyclopses to tell the party?
Cyclopses are one of these descendants of ancient giants that has been very morphed by this strange environment. So the giants that you encountered previously have been shielded from the worst of the jungle. They made adaptations, they figured it out, they have that aerial transport system, they live in hilltops and in volcanoes and stuff. But the Cyclopses very much live in the jungle and have for many, many years. They are a lot less intelligent and more brutish.
These specific giants are called Cyclops. Specific to the jungle, they're not as friendly as our newer Michis up at the mountain. We don't know why exactly, but the jungle is a harsh place. They only have one eyeball. That may be because many of them had their eyeballs poked out and they just grew this way. I don't know, but they're very angry about it. We do not want to approach this. This is not an Amici. This is no good.
All right, then let's be moving on and keeping our distance.
Very well.
All right. So, Cavatappi, you leave the scene of this drop-off. What do you do?
I'm going to immediately look for a place to hide nearby so I can scope out the door. Upon further reflection, Cavatappi realized if Von Nichts shows back up, it might be best to give them a heads up, maybe even their money back. Cavatappi's experience, more enemies is never a good thing. So I'm going to roll stealth.
Okay.
And just see how well I can stay hidden in this area, maybe behind some trash or something.
You are positioning yourself to be near this door, hidden. Go ahead.
Yep. And that is pretty good. It's 23.
Very good. So you wait here for a while. After quite a bit of time, an unassuming bugbear, or if you wanted to actually change your appearance.
No, an unassuming bugbear rolls up. They walk up to the door, do the special knock.
As soon as the knock happens, Cavatappi's gonna, hey, hotshot, I would stop making any noise if I was you.
Cavatappi!
Damn. Nice roll, whatever you rolled.
Where are you? I rolled perception. I didn't see you.
Oh, okay. I guess my voice is a little distinct. I'm gonna wave just my arm out from there. Get over here quick.
Yeah, I get over there quick.
Hunker down, buddy. In fact, here, I'll give you the quick take. We've been had. I don't know who made us. Somebody made us. I don't even know if it was you. This is against my better judgment. Here's your money. And I'm gonna give them the 1,000.
I take the banknote. You know, I was beginning to think that there was no honor amongst thieves. And such is what one has come to expect living in a city like this. Everyone is always scrambling to see who can be on top of the...
Listen, stop pontificating and postulating on the merits and demerits of thievery, okay? We've been made. This place is going to be swarming any minute. I'm nice and tucked in this trash here. I'd like to either stay here or get the hell out of here. You know a good place to hole up? Not your house. That's a rookie mistake. Don't ever go home.
Oh, I was not planning to. But I think it's also best that we part ways. If they are looking for you, well, they are not looking for me, because I am not cured of Huard's handy haversacks. And it is a good thing, too. I would never want to be associated with such an inferior product.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even just to be the person, you got to be run down to all hell. I'd rather be in prison than be Heward, you know what I mean?
Well, we should both make ourselves scarce before...
You hear at that moment sirens approaching.
Okay, I'll see you later. Or never. Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Okay, as you're making your way away from this crime scene, please roll stealth once more to make a clean break.
Ooh, that's only a 12.
Not as good. 17.
Okay. You both get away.
Wow.
Cool. I'm going to head probably a few blocks down, hopefully uninterrupted, to a rundown bar.
Yeah, as you're making your way away from this place, you see several Sharn Watch sky coaches descend on this area. Sharn Watch guards pouring out of these things and swarming the door. And you just pull up your collars and get out of there. This is the place. Yeah, did you hear Mr. Haversack was involved? Mr. Haversack. Thought it was Heward.
Amazing.
Oh, man.
All right. Yeah, that's that. We could just fast forward through the rest of this. I'm going to need 3 more Arcana checks from Alfonso.
14 total, so 3 on the dice. 28 and 21.
Okay.
Can I know what the average is? I'm so curious. I wouldn't have asked if I didn't roll really well consistently, and now I'm just curious.
Rounding down, it's 25.
Wow.
Enjoy a city life of obscurity, Green Warden. Neither seen nor heard.
Alfonso, what does Warden look like now? What does the fruition of this design come to?
Sono perfetto.
You now see that the Warden has inconsistent, but thoughtfully inconsistent, levels of rust on these different panels of plating that adorn all of his body. A very seasoned smithy or artificer would maybe be able to recognize it as a stitched together casing, but to anyone else it would look like a weather and time worn mechanical device. So to that effect, Istvan and Alfonso, with the power of friendship, were quite successful. In addition to that, Alfonso couldn't help himself and did have to put a mechanical wench, I believe is the word.
Winch?
For like a wind-up toy. What's that mechanism called?
Crank?
It's like a cute little four-leaf clover. Like it's one of those cranks that you wind.
I don't know if I like that.
I mean, I did say wind-up toy from the beginning, so... and you did agree. It's a rather small one situated at the top of Green Warden's back. But otherwise, nothing overly cartoonish. This is just weather-worn plating all over Green Warden's body.
Got it. You can take this off or put this on in the same time frame as heavy armor.
Cool.
This is not just what you look like now.
Yeah, great.
Well, it's not my prettiest work, but it is quite functional.
Alfonso claps off some lingering dust on his hands.
I expected nothing less from these two great minds,
Winking at you, Istvan.
You're the mind. I just make the stuff.
Give yourself more credit, mi amici.
I give myself as much credit as I deserve. And functional is what I deserve. Functional is kind of an understatement of a word, but when Istvan says it, you can see them beaming with a bit of pride.
Awesome. Good.
We shall see about that. I have a good feeling.
Okay, so that's done with. Very good. Istvan, the thing you were working on, how's that going?
Let's find out. Okay, that is a 19 crafting check.
So you were getting this stone integrated into Alfonso's armor?
Yeah, obviously it's a mysterious gem. I don't know what the result of this will be, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, so then after this handiwork, now instead of this having an effect on your skill checks passively, this now has the same effect on your attack rolls. So +1 during the day, -1 at night.
Okay, cool.
And it would take some amount of work by Istvan to remove it.
All right, cool.
Does the bonus and penalty apply to just attacks or damage as well?
It's just the attacks made with the Thunder Gauntlets or the Lightning Launcher.
This is what I said, la forza. Grazie mille, mi amici.
Sorry, my Elvish is not, do you say prego?
That is very close, yes. And just in case you did not hear me, I said, I feel the strength very much. Thank you very much, my friend.
Okay, very cool.
Extra. Heward arrested by Sharn Watch. Mr. Heward was arrested at his Upper Sharn home and brought into watch custody last night after eyewitness testimony implicated him in a Kundarak vault robbery in Lower Sharn. Heward has denied involvement, but a preponderance of evidence is emerging to link him to the case. An anonymous bugbear at the scene claimed to have witnessed Mr. Heward escape on foot down a nearby alley, where investigators later recovered evidence including a discarded hat and jacket matching Mr. Heward's description. His two accomplices, an ogre named Salvatore Brugg and an unidentified elf, escaped watch pursuit in a crosstown skycoach shootout. The investigation is ongoing. At this time, Mr. Heward's motive is unclear, but his company, primarily known for their flagship product, the handy haversack, has experienced market pressure from the vastly more popular Bag of Holding in recent years. In financial news, Bag of Holding Holdings is up 41% in early trading. This has been the Bag of Holding Radio Hour.
Last call for downtime.
I would say something to Istvan while they are doing all of this work during these couple of days.
Master Istvan, it would seem to me that all of this talk of spirits and souls, would it not stir your determination? I recall our time at the volcano. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling? That's complicated, I suppose. It's a long road when you're sitting with guilt, to have everything you do not be coloured by it. But I think my time with you and my time in the temple has caused the colour of that guilt to fade.
When you saw the wisps of the souls in that druid's grove, did you look upon them and think that they had guilt or that they had carried whatever guilt they may have had into the form you saw before you.
I cannot say. I do not know the ways of elven spirits. My soul belongs to Onatar. But, Warden, let me ask you, the conflict of your time, it was clear, who did right and who did wrong, who fought for freedom and who fought to oppress?
Yes, it was as clear as night and day.
Before I was of age to fight, there was another conflict such as that. The people of my home, of the Mororholds, were vassal to Karnath, a cruel state filled with mages who abused their power. And my elder sibling, they fought for freedom, our freedom, against those mages, much like you did in your time. But when my time came to fight, I had only wicked sides to choose. There was another choice, though, that I didn't see before. And that is that there are many good causes in this world worth fighting for, that do not wave a banner, that do not claim a state or a home, but are like Alfonso here, and like yourself, simply souls seeking to do good.
A week ago, I did not realize that uncovering the secrets of Signori Warden here was a choice that we had. I could argue that I didn't know this choice. I cost Luciano precious time. I could feel terrible about this, but the world did not let me know this information. My friend Istvan, you cannot hold this over your head. The world as it was gave you two choices, both terrible. A third later presented itself, and what did you do? The right thing. You are a good people, an expression I have heard before. I think you make the right choice when the choice is in front of you. And this is all we can aspire to be. When I bring my brother back, I will not apologize for the lost time. I will just be grateful that the choice presented itself and I took it. You should be this way too.
When iron is melted down and given a new form, it cannot very simply become iron again. Things are done in the metallurgical process of forging to change the nature of that raw material. My nature has been changed, whether by my own choice or by the circumstances I was forced into. I am made less by having served an evil cause. I do not mean to discredit what you say, Alfonso, but my path to forgiveness, in Onatar's eyes and my own, is a longer, more arduous one.
Well, for the time that we are with you, Master Istvan, you will not be alone on that path.
I bow my head in gratitude and continue working on whatever it is I'm working on.
What do you say, Signori Warden? Pretty soon we see what Istvan looks like with that beard? Let us hope so, huh?
Let us hope so.
All right. So you've been traveling for a few days more, keeping contact with Clacky somewhat, just checking in every so often, keeping your distance from the expedition, who is also traveling towards Stormreach at pretty much the same rate as you. But one of these days, you blow the whistle, and Clacky doesn't come. You wait, you blow some more, Clacky does not come.
Have to check my Wi-Fi router.
Do you think something bad happened to him?
Perhaps something bad has happened to us.
On your passive perception, you notice it's oddly quiet. The background sounds of animals and all the other creatures around has hushed.
I have a bad feeling that Signori Warden is correct. Listen, there is nothing.
Something has silenced this place.
I hover my hands around my weapons.
I change into my armor as well.
I'd like to make a nature or perception check as I draw my greatsword.
Either one would work.
Yeah, I'll do the same. That is a 16 nature.
That's a 17 nature.
17 perception.
Yeah, on those rolls, specifically the nature ones for now, you can tell these animals are either hiding or have fled from something. Something is approaching this place. With that 17 perception, you hear loud thumps from the ground.
Do I see the water in the bottom of the plastic cup shaking a little bit?
Yes!
You do.
Yes!
Oh, no.
Oh my god!
I think I know what this may be. Signori Spielberg did something like this before, I think.
I once saw a dinosaur on the road to Sire. When we passed it, it felt a little something like this.
Like this indeed. And that's what we'll call today's session.
Oh, you little shit.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. What a good fucking Istvan episode.
Wait, no, this was a good Warden episode.
Oh
what are you
shit,
talking
this is
about?
6. Damn it, I did this last time.
I don't know. You did this the last 2 times. This is a very good Warden
What
and
a
Alfonso
fucking
episode,
great.
definitely
Oh my
Warden.
god. I love me some backstory. Yum, yum, yum.
Also, it's worth mentioning again, Steven Spielberg's going to lose his shit when he hears this. Yeah, we better be ready for that.
Jimmy, do you need to cut Spielberg a royalty check?
For mentioning his name, or... I mean, you're the one who made the plastic cup reference.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, okay, so Scala, you better lawyer up, buddy.
Lawyer up.
Pods of the Multiverse is produced by Jimmy Affatigato, that's me, and edited by Scala with music by Andy Berger and art by Alexa Reilly. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, and a special thanks to our Holy Avengers, May, Jake, Chris, and John. For $5 a month on Patreon, you can access every episode of Table Talk, our post-game recap show.
If you do want to help Scala with their legal expenses, a donation to our Patreon would be most appreciated.
Fuck off! No! Don't use me for that!
Thanks for listening.